So we're talking about product labeling today.
Yes,
and as you say, it's a different meaning in manufacturing than in psychology or sociology, but it really is the same because labeling is about identification, right, or how you classify something. And essentially what a label does is help you to identify what product you are looking at. And I'm going to talk a lot in terms of agro-processed products now, food items, to make it sound more everyday, which are packaged, right? And so labeling is a form of packaging, but it serves mainly communication purposes ultimately, and depends on what it's communicating. It can communicate a branding message to assist with the marketing of the product. It can communicate technical information which tells you what the product is and what the features of the product are, and it can communicate other information in terms of use of the product, so instructions or warnings about the product, important information that we need in order to make up our minds whether we want the product or not, right? So it is very important in that regard. Of course, if we break it down, as I said, in terms of the different messages that is communicated, the branding side is important. I want to know who is behind the product and whether it's a name that we know or we're familiar with, whether we trust it or not. So we want to know that. So the branding has to stand out strongly as well. So as you look at the product, this is thing. In Jamaica, we have a thing to look at people and say which relative you look like, so we can know which family you belong to.
Yes.
So similarly, the branding kind of does something like that.
Yes.
And of course,
I like that one. Yeah.
Right, and of course, the logo is what brands use to create that identity. So when I come from a family with gray eyes or brown eyes or straight nose or broad nose, it helps you to identify. So that uniqueness with the logo. Of course, the product name is also critical because a brand may have different types of food products out there. You want to know, you don't want to mix up ketchup with pepper sauce with red Kool-Aid, for example, or a red beverage. So you want to have the product name, and the name has to be a name which is universally understood. So you may create a pepper sauce, but you want to give it a fancy term. Colin Hot Pepper. Nobody knows what that is. Right?
I'm rewinding. I'm not rewinding. I'm bringing up the image. Yeah. Yes.
So even if I want to call it Colin Hot Pepper, I have to put red pepper sauce.
All right.
Because hot pepper don't mean nothing to a lot of people. So you have the product name. The label should also contain the ingredients typically in descending order of volume or of input. So if water is the most, well, I'm not sure if water normally is put on labels, but if pepper is the main ingredient, then I put red pepper, then I put vinegar, then I put in descending order all the inputs in there.
Okay.
So and this is where we're getting on some of the technical side of the label now. Now you can't again just put common names of the ingredients. It has to be either the scientific name or the universally known name, because different people may refer to things differently in terms of names. Not everybody needs a similar name that we may use for something, and so that's an issue. So you have to use the universally acceptable name for the ingredient. Now, some people also have a way to say, boy, secret ingredient, so I'm not going to put that in there. You have to declare everything in your label, because someone may be allergic to or may not like a particular ingredient, so they don't want to consume anything that has it in there, so you have to declare it, right? If you want to keep what you have in they are secret. You have to put the input, but what you don't disclose is your formulation. So we don't know how much of secret spice number 2 is in there, but you have to tell us what secret spice number 2 is, right? So this is unlike a fast food chain who have them secret spices and herbs that make up that give their taste, and they don't tell you because they don't have to declare ingredients on the box when you go buy the fast food. But once it's a processed and packaged product, you have to do that, right? Other critical information which is needed on the label, you need the net contents or net volume, whether in weight, typically in grams, or in milliliters or liters or some other unit. You have to put the place of manufacture, and the name of the manufacturer has to be on it with their contact information.
Yes.
So that if anything goes wrong, you know who to reach out to give feedback on the product.
Just a minute, though, Colin. You said something about the manufacturer.
Right.
But it's not always so, because from time to time, I see packed for or packaged for or distributed by.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
just a second. Right. But what I do notice though, right? Because sometimes I go into a place and I notice that some of the products are eerily similar. So I turn around the label, turn the label away, and I can't tell. Right.
Right.
And then I turn them back around, and I say, manufactured for, packet for, whatever.
Right.
And then way down the bottom, right? I'm a queen drop my eye and look, and I see product of Thailand, for example.
Right.
Right. So even so, the point is though, I still don't know where in Thailand it's made. I just know that it is packaged for, and I don't even know if it's packaged in Thailand. I just know that it is packaged for a Jamaican company.
Right. And
is that compliant with the, yes?
It is. But those are some important points that you have brought up. Because the country of manufacture has to be identified as well. So you mentioned Thailand in this case. So we know it is not made in Jamaica. It is made for or packed for company Colin Porter Foods. The important thing is that if you were to consume this product and had an issue, Colin Porter Foods is the responsible entity for the product.
Okay.
And when you're doing a traceability through them now, then you can trace all the way back to which factory in Thailand made the product and what the issue was. So once you can easily and readily identify the manufacturer, the marketing company, the distributor, but someone responsible has to be declared on the label, right? So you can have some recourse. You can reach out to Colin Porter Foods. They should have their contact information on it, Colin Porter Foods, of whatever address, telephone, email, and so on, or direct us to our website and so on. But even our website is very vague. You have to have the contact information that you can go on. And then coupled with that now, what Colin Porter Food needs to ensure that they have on it so it can help them to trace back are batch codes and date of manufacturer and date of expiry, right? Especially expiry date. If it's something that has a set shelf life, you need to have on it. So I can make up my mind when I buy something and see expiry date July 31st, 2025. I feel safe to buy it now because I have another year that I can consume it when it is considered to be safe and meeting all requirements. So the label packs a lot of information.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's important that we understand and read the labels. There are some other information, the nutritional information, as I mentioned earlier, instructions for use, and sometimes we ignore some simple things like refrigerator after opening. A lot of times we buy some stuff and we open it and we put it back in our cupboard and not on the refrigerator. Things like that are critical.
Yeah. I'm distilling the thing, Colin. So you have two sets. For me, in this conversation, there are two sets of things that you need to do. Right? First of all, because the labeling is about trying to make the people know what the product is and to sell it as best as you can and to identify you. Right. So, if I'm making some kind of a food, right? My thing is the Taylor's black sauce.
Right.
All right. My brand. Everything black, right? All right. And so you have a silhouette of the man in black on it or something like that, right? Okay. But then, separate and apart from that, I'm now going to have to, in descending order, outline what in there, right? Little by little. But suppose I have a secret ingredient. I can just say a secret spice, or I have to say what it is.
You really ought to say what it is.
Yes. Okay.
You have to say what it is. And another thing, and I don't want to call it a brand name now. Sometimes, some people make up what we call blend up. To punch them and to tonic them and so on.
No, I'm afraid of that,
Yeah, I'm afraid of it, but it is a popular product. And some may use other third-party processed products in there, like a peanut punch made by someone else, or a plant-based or some other milk made by someone else, and they just put in there and say, one of the popular brands out there.
Right. So
really, and then you put on ingredients.
Yeah.
Egg,
can't do that. Right. So you must outline. So erring on the side of caution. So you must outline. And if you have any doubt, because the clock is militating against us, no?
Yes.
That if you have any doubt at all, or no, as a matter of fact, if you have a lot of knowledge but never enough, check the JBDC, because you're not going to brought them finger, you're not going to brought them hand.
No.
Right? The expertise is there. If you don't have it, you procure it for the public.
Right. And a parting shot, if I can throw in all.
Please.
Check us, because before you put a label on a product and put it on the shelf, it has to be approved by the Bureau of Standards, which has particular requirements, including some of which I just spoke of. And in order to ensure that the Bureau will approve your label, come to us at JBDC. Let us review both the product and the label and give you assistance to ensure that it meets whatever requirements and standards before you go to the Bureau, to ensure that when it goes to them, your label gets approved and you can put your product on the shelf without worrying about anyone taking it off the shelf because it doesn't meet the requirements. Right? So come to us. Our Incubator and Resource Center is on 76 Marcus Garvey Drive. Our website is jbdc.net. You can check that for the contact numbers and we'll tell you exactly how to find us. And we have other areas where we help you out to make sure we get that product and that label out there and promoting your brand and your product.
All right. Bless you. That's a great lesson. Colin Porter, Enough Love, manager of the Incubator and Resource Center at the Jamaica Business Development Corporation. And remember this, people. If you have any question, you have any need relating to small business, check the JBDC. They have it, a whole heap of things right there. We just did Grow Your Business.